We got a Caterpillar basic IMCO system. Problem is a hard start. So wouldn't start. Sometimes the only way that the customer is able to start it is by pumping up the pedal a couple times, but even then it's still a hard start. Let's try it now. So still nothing. So first thing we're gonna do is uh, look for a vacuum leak. So we're just gonna use a brake clean while we crank it, and then we're gonna spray some in the throttle body. Randy, can you crank it? So Randy's gonna crank it. Spray some there. Okay. Started right away. Off. Be off. And I bet you if we crank it again, almost catches. I'll start again. Do one more time. Okay. Then once it's running, keeps on running. So this one we're dealing with a vacuum leak. Pinpoint where the vacuum leak is. Spraying the brake clean. Pretty much we know the direction that we're headed. We are looking for a vacuum leak. But in order for us to pinpoint where the vacuum leak is, we're gonna try to use a smoke machine. So we're gonna run it through the intake snorkel. I'm gonna pump this up just to do that, to close up that passage. All right, hook up the smoke machine. Okay, you know what? First of all, take it out and try to see if there's smoke's coming out of there. Okay, the smoke. All right, plug it in. Okay, now we're gonna turn the smoke machine on. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's see exactly where that leak is coming from. Right in that area. Oh, the smoke is really billowing from this guy. Let's turn it down a bit. See, so we can exactly see where it's coming from. There it is. Okay, up a bit. Turn up the smoke a bit. You see better. I think it's coming from right here, the separation here. Okay, is there anywhere else that we can see that? Anything else? Okay, let's try to tighten those nuts and see where it takes us. We can take away the vacuum leak, otherwise we're opening it up and it's probably going to be a gasket. Alright, so we already know that it's a vacuum leak that is causing us to have a hard starting issue on this truck. But I guess the question is, how does it relate to the hard starting? I mean, why would a vacuum leak create a hard starting issue? So because this is a vacuum operated fuel system, the lock-up, the vaporizer, all right, and even the air, the diaphragm here in the mixer requires on vacuum, well, not necessarily vacuum, but the amount of air that is passing through the intake. So engine vacuum is under the throttle plate, but this is above the throttle plate, and so the air valve vacuum that lifts up the diaphragm is actually based on the amount of air that's able to pass through. So normally it would require at least a minimum of 5, I guess, inches of water to lift up the diaphragm of its seat to let the gas in. And I think it was like 2 inches of water that should be present to operate the lock off. So what I have right now is adapter and a manometer to measure the vacuum created through the passing of the air through that mixer. Let's just calibrate this. 0. So as you can see, uh, this is at inches of water. Let's try cranking it. So we set a minimum of 5 at least to lift up the air valve. Okay, let's try cranking this and see what we get. Okay, because there is a vacuum leak, air is not able to pass through the mixer, but it's bypassing the mixer. But when we open the throttle, we have a direct connection now from the manifold to the throttle or the diaphragm. So let's see. I'm gonna crank it again, but this time around, I'm gonna open up the throttle plate. Okay, so as you can see there, you have now a reading higher, but it's not quite enough, right, to lift up the air valve, the diaphragm. And that's why you're having a hard starting issue, because the diaphragm is not lifting up and not allowing any LPG to go into the mixer. All right, so we're gonna fix that leak and let's try again after. Okay, so now that we've fixed the leaks in the governor, replace the gaskets, clean it up. Okay, let's do the test again. So at 0 right now, inches of water, and then we're gonna start cranking. So 5, 6, and then that's it. So once you were able to reach at least 5 inches of water, it already started. Okay, let's kill it again. But by now you already have some fuel that was left over or still in the regulator. This is probably going to start a bit quicker now. Okay, let's try it again. And this is me not opening the throttle. Let's show that. Let's crank it again without opening the throttle. Alright, and once it starts running, you can see it's like 5.8, 6 inches. And when I open up the throttle, this is gonna go higher now. Okay, so there you have it. It needs air to pass through the mixer in order to build up that air valve vacuum. So that air valve vacuum is totally dependent on the amount of air that is passing through that mixer. Not really on the vacuum that's created by the engine, but it's the amount of air that's passing through the mixer that creates that air valve vacuum. So if you have a vacuum leak, it's basically bypassing the mixer and the diaphragm is not able to lift up. And if it's not able to lift up, you will not have any propane to mix with the air, right? So I hope that this clears it up, and I guess we can call this one a fix.